Hey everyone, my wife and I took a bucket list trip to Hawaii. We spent a week on the Big Island and 6 days on Oahu. I decided to rent a bike in Honolulu. There are a couple of options for bike rental places. I also looked at riders share. I was originally going to go with riders share, but due to limitations with finding a renter that had not only a helmet, but also a phone mount with a bike that I actually wanted to ride, I ended up going the more expensive route and went with Chase Rentals, which happened to be a half a block from my hotel. Chase Rentals has lots of different options for bikes, a couple of Indians, Hondas, Triumphs, and a whole bunch of Harleys. I was originally thinking about the Honda Rebel 1100 because I've been wanting to test ride one of those. But since I just finished off my Harley and Indian demo ride series, but didn't get to ride the Harley Softail Standard, I went with that instead. One thing to note about riding in Hawaii, once you get out of Honolulu, or if you're riding in the Big Island, which has some towns but no big city, the riding is very chill. Most speed limits are around 35 or 45 miles an hour, and many people drive anywhere from a couple miles under the speed limit to a couple miles over. You don't often see people driving even 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit, which can be a little bit challenging when you're on a nice twisty road, but you can't roll on the throttle or step on the gas if you're in a car because of the people in front of you. They also have quite a few speed bumps or speed humps on the road to slow traffic down in school zones and high pedestrian areas. It's quite a different driving and riding experience than what I am used to here on the mainland. It is much more relaxed. As you start heading out of Honolulu towards the north and heading into the mountainous area, there's a popular lookout called Tantalus Lookout. The road that leads up to Tantalus and down the other side of the mountain is very twisty and on the map looks like a really fun ride. So that's where I headed out first. It was about 8:30 in the morning. Weather said there was only about 25% chance of rain in Honolulu. I got on this road and found out that the road is in terrible shape. There are bumps all over the place. I also found out that about a mile past the lookout, the road was closed for construction, which didn't show up in my Google Maps. Not only that, but it had apparently rained during the night and the road was very wet, lots of puddles. The 25% chance of rain turned into a 100% chance of rain when I got up on the mountain, and since I had no coat, no windshield, and only a half-shell helmet, it got miserably cold real fast. So that part of my ride was a complete bust. Once I got back down off the mountain, the weather was fine, roads were dry, and I enjoyed the rest of my ride. I went over to Diamond Head to look at the crater from the inside, then rode the road that follows the coastline south to Coco. Since I had just finished my Indian versus Harley comparison series, I figured I'll tack this one onto the end and take a look at how the Harley Softail Standard fits in. The Harley Softail Standard and the Street Bob 114 are essentially the same bike in how they look. Frame, tank, seat, handlebars, fenders all look the same. There are some key differences. The Standard is the one remaining Harley that has a Milwaukee 8107 engine. The Street Bob has the 114. The Standard is chromed out and the Street Bob is blacked out. There are other minor differences as well, but those are the main ones. The Standard is still around because it is really a basic minimalist type of bike that is ideal for customizing. The Street Bob, even though it's the same bike, has painted tanks with a design on them, so it's not quite as customizable as the Standard. The Standard makes 110 foot-pounds of torque with a 107 engine. The Street Bob makes 119. Both have a 25.8-inch seat height and weigh 655 pounds with a 3.5 gallon tank. The Standard starts at $15,000, the Street Bob starts at $17,000. When it comes to Indian, these bikes go up against the Chief and the Chief Dark Horse. The Chief has the Thunderstroke 111 with 108 foot-pounds of torque, and the Dark Horse has the Thunderstroke 116 with 120 foot-pounds of torque. They both have a 26-inch seat height, a 4-gallon tank, and weigh 670 pounds. With a slightly heavier weight on the Indians, the power-to-weight ratio is slightly better actually on the Harley, Standard, and Street Bob, but not by much, certainly not enough to make a noticeable difference. All these bikes have mid-controls. As far as features go, the Indians have all LED lights, a 4-inch round gauge, riding modes, keyless ignition, and cruise control. The Harleys only have LED headlight, The rest of the lights are incandescent. They have the basic 2-inch gauge on the handlebar, no riding modes or cruise. They do have keyless ignition. The Indian base Chief starts at $15,000, same as the Softail standard, but the Chief Dark Horse starts at $18,500, which is $1,500 more than the Street Bob. I didn't ride the Indian Chief or Chief Dark Horse this year. They didn't have those available on the demo ride. I did ride the Super Chief Limited and the Sport Chief, so between those, I'm pretty sure I can extrapolate what it would be like to ride the base Chief or the Dark Horse. As far as rating these bikes, Harley gets a point for power, but just barely. Indian gets a point for better electronics and features. Street Bob gets a point for lower price. When it comes to the riding experience, this is going to go to Harley for both the standard and the Street Bob. When I rode the Street Bob last year and this year on the Harley demo weekends, it topped the list of my favorite bikes in the mid-weight cruiser category. The standard is also a lot of fun to ride. I would put these bikes in the category of bikes to use for riding around town, commuting, or even a couple-hour ride with friends. They have plenty of power to ride on the highway, but they're not very comfortable for that kind of riding for long periods of time. In my ride in Hawaii, I had the standard on the highway for a few miles, riding 50 or 60 miles an hour, and was eager to get back to regular non-highway speeds of around 40 or 45. One of the reasons I find these Harleys more comfortable and enjoyable to ride than the Indians is the higher handlebars. These have, I think, 8-inch apes from the factory, and they are very comfortable. While the Indians have more features, the Harleys appeal to those who don't care about all that. They just want to get on the bike and go. Forget about cruise, GPS, maps, or riding modes. These Harleys are minimalist, stripped down, basic bikes, and there are plenty of riders out there that are attracted to that style of bike. With the Indian Chiefs that I did ride, I wasn't as comfortable with the ergonomics of those bikes. Having the bigger gas tank means you can go a little longer before stopping for gas, but I didn't find these comfortable enough to ride for 200 miles straight anyway, so that really doesn't matter much. If you watch my reviews of the Super Chief Limited and the Sport Chief, you'll see that my opinion ranges from I really don't like this bike on the Sport Chief to it's okay but nothing special on the Super Chief Limited. So technically, Harley gets 2 more wins, with the Softail Standard winning over the base Chief and the Street Bob winning over the Chief Dark Horse. What that means is that Harley is now tied with Indian with 4 wins each and 3 ties. Please like and subscribe. I know in my last video I promised a review of some Suzukis. Those are still coming up. I'm also going to stray from the motorcycle theme here and do a review of our Hawaii vacation, things to do and see that we recommend after having been there. Thanks everyone for watching. See you on the next one.